My dear friends, welcome to the 54th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We started studying chapter 7 last time. And as we said, the first 6 chapters are actually about karma and jnana, and they will also continue later in the Gita. But the middle 6 chapters from 7 to 12, they are predominantly about the Lord, about bhakti, about surrender, about how to perceive the Lord, where is the Lord. And then Krishna in these verses himself tells us where he is hiding and if he is hiding at all, and how can we connect with him, how can we perceive his presence all the time, everywhere. So when we started chapter 7, it opened with Krishna addressing Arjuna, and in shloka number 1, Krishna says to Arjuna, O Arjuna, absorbing thy mind in me, taking shelter in me, and following the path of yoga, hear how thou shalt realize me beyond all doubt and in full completion, knowing me with all my attributes and my power. So he is literally saying that now I'm going to tell you about all of myself so that you're gaining that higher wisdom. You would then know what to do, how to behave in this world, how to fight this battle that you are presently a part of. In shloka number 2, Krishna says to Arjuna, I shall relate to thee without omission both theoretical wisdom and that wisdom that is gained by intuitive realization, knowing which nothing in this world will remain unknown to thee. So here in the Sanskrit verse, 2 words have been used. One is Gyan and one is Vigyan. So according to most commentaries, so the theoretical wisdom is Gyan, the knowledge that we gain from books, the knowledge that we gain from hearing, and the knowledge that we assimilate from Paroksha, means from indirect sources, as we said, reading or hearing or something like that. And Vigyan is supposed to be aparoksha anubhuti, means that wisdom which is gained by intuitive realization that we are in a sense part of Krishna, or Krishna is all pervading. So that wisdom is said to be Vigyan. In terms of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he would say that Gyan is knowing that you are that pure consciousness. But then Vigyan is even higher when you know that the Lord, not only are you pure consciousness, but the entire world, the entire universe, entire Sagun and Nirgun Brahman, all of that is one and is created and pervaded by the Lord. So as we gain theoretical wisdom, it should open our inner introspection, our inner intuition, our ability to realize it within ourselves, and then it will be called Vigyan. And Krishna here is promising to Arjuna that he will tell him how to attain Jnana and how to attain Vigyan as well. So, if we look at the knowledge that we gain from books and other sources, there are so many sciences, there are so many arts. Then, how is it that Krishna is saying that I will give you a knowledge knowing which nothing else will remain to be unknown? So, as we discussed earlier, it does not mean that we will have the superficial knowledge of all the arts and all the sciences, or even in depth of that. But in fact, the knowledge that we will gain is the essence or the substratum from which this entire creation has come forth. So knowing that essence of creation and feeling it within ourselves, we will come to the point where we would not need to know anything. Also because we will come to the truth that our own nature is that of perfect bliss, and even the knowledge that we want to gain from this universe is eventually to come to the point of eternal bliss, which is unconditional and which does not change. So if we are given the direct understanding and the direct realization that we are pure bliss itself, automatically the purpose of all the knowledge that is to be gained is achieved, and therefore nothing else remains to be known to us. In shloka number 3, Krishna points out an important mathematical equation. He says, among thousands of men, perhaps one strives for spiritual attainment, and among the blessed true seekers that assiduously try to reach me, perhaps one perceives me as I am. So we all know that Master said openly that our percentages are better. So it is because he brought the path of Kriya Yoga for us, and Lahiri Mahasaya clearly said, and it is also mentioned in the autobiography of a yogi, that a sincere Kriya Yoga practitioner, according to his past karma and according to his present yearning for truth and his sincerity and regularity in Kriya practice, can achieve liberation in this lifetime in 3 years or 6 years or 12 years or 24 years or 36 years or 48 years. And then he goes on to say that if he is not able to achieve it in 48 years, in the next life, then he will be immediately and very strongly be brought on to the Kriya Yoga path. And in 96 years, that means 2 lifetimes, he is sure to be liberated. So this is the promise of the great gurus. This is the promise of the yoga avatar himself. And therefore, it is, very, very encouraging for us. So on the one hand, it appears that this shloka is discouraging and saying that no, 1 out of so many people is seeking it, which is the truth. As we look around, we find that people are not interested in God, people are not interested in truth, people are only seeking pleasures out of money, sex, and or involvement into this physical world, having desires for material enjoyment and wanting more of the same material enjoyment, or wanting variety of the same material enjoyment. So people are just engrossed in that, and they don't even want to know why they exist in the first place. So there are very, very few people who would want to know the truth. And out of those, how many will actually make the sincere, unceasing effort, as has been mentioned in the scriptures also by Patanjali, that your spiritual effort has to be unceasing. And if one is able to do that unceasing effort and is able to follow the scripture, then of course the guru has come to us to take us to liberation, and he will not leave our hand till we achieve the liberation. So then eventually it comes down to us as to how much we are putting the effort, how much of heart, how much of our life we are putting into our spiritual practice, because then that will determine as to what our future lies, whether it is another birth, or whether it is maybe heavenly spheres, or whether it is final moksha. And also depends on what we want. As we know, so many people would want heavenly spheres, and the Gita will also tell us how to go to those heavenly spheres. If you pray to lesser gods, it says, then you will attain those spheres. But if you want final moksha, if you want oneness with the infinite ocean of existence, consciousness, bliss, then Krishna says that you have to surrender to me, and then he explains who he is and how he is managing the whole of creation. So this brings us to shloka number 4. And shloka number 4 reads out like this. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirev cha ahamkara iti yamme bhinna prakritirishthadha. मेरी व्यक्त प्रकृति के 8 भेद हैं: पृथ्वी, जल, अग्नि, वायु, आकाश, मन, बुद्धि और अहंकार. My manifested nature or Prakriti has an 8-fold differentiation: earth, water, fire, air, ether, sensory mind or manas, intelligence or buddhi, and egoism or ahamkara. So here now he starts explaining how this creation is being created and maintained. And Master says that the physical cosmos, that as we see it around us, is also called apara prakriti, and this is the dream body of God. And just like in a dream, what happens is the dreamer's consciousness. So let's say I am dreaming, so my own mind stuff gets converted into 3 parts. One is the part that is dreaming, one is the process of dreaming, and third is the objective dream world that I create while I'm dreaming. So my mind stuff divides itself into 3. Similarly, says that God divides his own consciousness into 3 parts, into the world that is dreamt of, the process of dreaming, and the witness of the dream, or the creator of the dream. And in this creation of the dream, these elements that have been mentioned, the 5 elements, the Pancha Tattva, and 3 aspects, that is intelligence or buddhi, man, manas, and ahamkara, I-ness. So the I-ness is so important because unless the individual, the subject, the objects that have been created in the dream, unless they have a separate individual identity, unless they have a separate subjective feeling of separation, till then the dream will have no, no scenes, because it has to appear the way we want to see it, like a theatrical performance, or we want to see a movie. So it has to have variety, and each subject has to have that I-ness. So Master says, think of the earth as a stage, literally. And we know Shakespeare has said this earth is a stage. So if earth is a stage, then actually, then these dream characters are the elements of which is the earth, fire, air, etc. They are now creating subjects. Now each of these subjects have a sense of ego or ahamkara, which they think that I am a separate entity, and then they start to play this drama. And here we are taking this so seriously, we get so engrossed, because it is not only true to our five senses. Now let also remember, in creation the senses are also related to the five elements. Now not only are our five senses involved, but also our thinking process, our emotional process, and the sense of I-ness, which makes it so real and makes us think that this is, I am experiencing this. So this actually is the dream drama that is going on, and it is created out of God's consciousness. So he's actually saying that it is my Prakriti which is, creating all these pictures. Then Master explains this further. He says that one is Apara Prakriti, which is the physical cosmos. Now behind this Apara Prakriti is the Para Prakriti, which is the finer, subtler universe, the astral universe, and the causal universe. All of them exist, and that is why the physical universe is able to manifest. So all these layers, all the beings are created from this Prakriti. And who is creating this Prakriti? Krishna is saying, my Prakriti. And always when we say Krishna here, we will remember that we are not talking of a body that was born few thousands of years ago. We are talking of Krishna consciousness. We are talking of the all-pervading intelligence which is present in every atom of creation. So that has brought forth the Prakriti as a dream, and it is using the elements which are also a dream. Then he goes on to say beautifully, now it's going to get even more bewildering to us. He says the spirit dreams itself to be the triune entity, God the Father beyond creation, God the Christ or Kutastha intelligence, that is God the Son in creation, and the intelligent cosmic nature or Holy Ghost. So to understand this, just think of the absolute stillness. Let us say that creation is not existing. Then what is existing? Absolute existence, consciousness, bliss, which is formless, infinite, and eternal. It is existing. And it is of an intelligent nature, right? So God says, and he will tell you later, Krishna says that all this creation is created only from a fraction of my being. So think that the absolute infinite existence, a part of it starts to vibrate. Now that vibratory power, that also power comes from from consciousness itself. So the Maya is also a power of Brahman. So it is vibrating, and now that, and also called Adi Shakti. So in that Adi Shakti, automatically the intelligence of God, which is present in stillness, is also present in movement. So now this vibratory part, which is only a fraction of the entire God the Father, is the creation that is presented to us, and we little creatures are able to perceive it through the senses, and we see very limited, we hear very limited, and we think this is the be all and end all of existence, and we get so engrossed in this drama that we really forget what is truly happening here, that actually we are dream characters. So we forget all of that, and that is why we start to suffer so much. And then we start to seek the truth, and then the guru appears in our life to knock our head with a magic wand and to say, wake up, this is only a dream. And then also waking up takes a time. And interestingly, it is said that, Yogananda would say that there are some people who would, if you wake them up, they will instantly wake up and, get up and say, okay, what do we need to do? There are others who will, if you wake them up, you have to wake them up again and again and again. But after some length of time, they will also wake up and start to ponder and think about that, we have to find out the truth. But there are some, you wake them up, but they say, oh, let me sleep some more. And they will just turn on the other side and they will go further into sleep. And that is why that equation, which Krishna says that only one out of the thousands will seek me. And that is the truth for most of the people around. So basically, we are trapped in here, and it says God Himself is dividing. When He wants to create, He divides Himself into God the Father, which is the absolute existence as it is, and God the Son, which is the intelligence inside the vibratory creation, and the vibratory creation, which is the Om vibration or the Holy Ghost. And when He does not want to create, He will dissolve all of that into absolute consciousness, which He will say in the next shloka. Then again, he goes on further and he says, now that you are understanding the dream nature of the universe, because it appears so real to us, but if we analyze even from the point of view of physics, we know that nothing is stationary. Whatever appears like a wall or a computer or even our body, actually it is so many atoms vibrating, there's so many electrons whirling around. They are only giving an appearance of a solid body. The water only looks like that. Actually, it is hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So the master says here that now that you are pondering upon the dream nature of the entire cosmos, you should also ponder upon the physical body. And then he says that the physical body is existing in a dream ether. And the vital air, the prana that we talk of so much, that is also a dream vital prana. It is a dream air. And the fire, which the fiery metabolism, which appears to be so important, and it is you working up, creating energy, and metabolizing various things, even that is of a dream fire. The blood that is circulating in our veins and arteries, which is like so real for us, is the dream water of the physical body, and the flesh itself is the dream earth. So he is saying that all of this is a dream. Look at your own body. Think about your thoughts. This is all a dream. Now, if we break it to what we have already studied, so at the physical level, we just said that this fleshy body is nothing but whirling electrons. And in the para-prakriti, in the astral sphere, this is nothing but moving lifetrons. And in the thought sphere, in our own thoughts, this is nothing but moving thoughttrons. Now, they are projected in a way that they appear solid, liquid, and gaseous to us. They appear real to us. Each entity appears to be a separate entity to us because we think we are this separate entity which is living in this body, which is actually a dream of God. This is a Leela of God, and therefore from right now, from this moment, we should stop taking it so seriously. Now, that does not mean that we do not be appropriate in this world, that we become careless in this world. It means that having recognized the truth, then do not invest emotionally so much. And especially learn to transcend the ego, because know that the ego is false, that the ego or separate existence is only a projection, it is a delusion. Know that it is false, because unless you transcend the ego, you will not be able to know your essence as the vast infinite, or know yourself as the substratum of everything. And therefore, you will always continue to suffer if you keep thinking you are this limited body, mind, personality. And therefore comes in the importance of meditation, of Kriya Yoga and the Guru, because Kriya Yoga practice promises that you will come to know your own divine essence. You will know that you are the Atman, infinite and eternal in nature, and thereby this will have promises to end your suffering with immediate effect. And all those who have been practicing Kriya for some time already have experienced to some degree the beneficial effects of the technique and have felt freer than before from their own emotional clutches, from the clutches of their own old habit patterns, and they feel freer in their heart. Their ability to love and expand their consciousness has increased, and you feel more happier than before. So, these are signs on the way as you are going towards liberation. Okay, so this takes us to the next shloka, which is shloka number 5. अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विधि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्। इस प्रकार यह मेरी निम्न प्रकृति अपरा प्रकृति है, परंतु हे महाबाहो, इसे समझो कि मेरी भिन्न तथा उच्च प्रकृति जीव है, जो संपूर्ण जगत को धारण करने वाली आत्म चेतना तथा जीवन तत्व है। Thus my lower nature अपरा प्रकृति. But understand, O mighty armed Arjuna, that my different and higher nature is the jiva, the self-conscious, the life principle that sustains the cosmos. Okay. So, important thing has been said here. So he said that all of this is Prakriti, the physical cosmos and all the creation, but my other nature is my higher nature, which is the jiva, which is the consciousness, which is the principle and the essence of the entire creation, which is the characteristic of the entire creation. And in the last verse, he also said it is my Prakriti. So also mentioning that it is he who with his power of Maya is creating this, this whole scenario, this whole Leela, this whole projection is being created by Krishna himself, and through the agency of Apara and Para Prakriti, he is creating all the beings that are coming into existence. But the essence of all beings and the characteristic of all beings in actuality is the presence of Krishna consciousness beneath them, because he is saying it is mine and I have created it. Then he says that, and also he is saying that my higher nature is the soul nature, is the consciousness nature. So what is it that makes the human body alive? That essence, so that electricity which makes the bulb glow, that hidden phenomenon that is not visible to the eyes, but it is because of which this entire creation is working, is the absolute consciousness, and the human body or the body of all sentient beings is being enlivened by the presence of the soul or pure consciousness, which is the higher nature of Krishna. So basically he is saying that I am everything. I am in Prakriti and I am the Purusha. And that is the part of Samkhya philosophy, which says that the sentient and the insentient cannot be the same. Means the changeless Atman and the changing world cannot be the same. They are two different things. And he is saying actually here that I am both the essence of all life and the projected created life as well. So here we must understand, if he is saying this, then he is also saying to us that I am the essence of your life. And if he is the essence of our life, then why is it that we should feel weak in ourselves? We should be happy, we should be strong, we should be courageous if we are aware of this truth that the divine himself is manifesting as us. Then we should have all the courage, all the confidence, and all the power in us to manifest that divinity. And this is what yoga practice also does to us. Not only do we recognize our own innate divinity, but we are able to manifest that light into this world. And that should be the goal of spiritual life. So for all of us who are walking this path and we want to know God, so eventually knowing God within, you will know God everywhere. And so always remember, whenever in any moment you feel weakness, know that you are just simply forgetting that God has made you. In fact, God is you. He has become you. Therefore, there is no point in feeling weak or low. Try to bring yourself up. Try to take your instruments of mind, of buddhi, and use that, and remember your essence as the substratum of everything in life. Okay. Then Master says, I'll read out what he has said. The soul in man is the ever unchanged and unchanging image of God. The jiva is that same divine consciousness which recognizes its essential oneness with God, but operates as the individualized entity. So, of course, he's explaining theoretically as to what is being said here. Okay, so this brings us to shloka number 6. एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगता प्रभवा प्रलयस्तथा। यह जान लो कि ये मेरी द्वैत प्रकृतियां हैं, परा एवं अपरा प्रकृति, सभी प्राणियों का उत्पत्ति स्थान है ये। मैं संपूर्ण जगत का जनक तथा प्रलय करता भी हूं। Understand that the dual natures of mind, the pure and the impure Prakriti, are the womb of all beings. I am the progenitor and also the dissolver of the entire cosmos. So here he is, clearly saying again, clearly, I am the progenitor, I am the dissolver. I am the seed of everything that exists. It is my dream, it is my Leela, it is my creation. And when I want to dissolve all of this, I simply withdraw those as undifferentiated thought and back into consciousness. And we know in Hinduism, in Buddhism, Jainism, we know that this creation is supposed to be very, very cyclical. It is supposed to be projected out and it is supposed to be withdrawn, and multiple cycles have already happened on planet Earth, and we are part of the current cycle. And it is said that if you do not achieve moksha in the current cycle, then you as a potential thought are withdrawn into God's consciousness. And when he the next day of Brahma, when he will project beings, then you will continue to still be in delusion. So that is the level of urgency that God is saying, and the Guru is saying, not only why are you thinking of so many more births, think of only this life. You can attain God realization in this life itself. Otherwise, you are part of such a big machinery of creation and dissolution, and you will continue to suffer unless you realize that you are divinity itself, that you are beyond the cycle of life and death, you are beyond karma. Once you realize that, then you will merge back as pure consciousness and not as a potential thought that has to be projected again in the next day of Brahma. So if you were to say it in question and answer, what is the source of all beings? It is Prakriti. And who creates Prakriti? It is Krishna, or it is God or Brahman, which creates Prakriti. Now, it is also said that the omnipotent and omnipresent consciousness of Krishna is both the material as well as the intelligent cause of the universe. So what do we mean when we say both material and intelligent cause? So think of a table in your room. Now, the table in your room has two causes. One is the material cause, means what is it made of? Wood. So wood is the material cause of the table. And what is the intelligent cause? The intelligent cause is the carpenter whose mind and intelligence caused the wood to become a table. Now, in case of God and his creation, he is both the material from which it has been created, and he is also the intelligence through which this entire creation has come into being. And that's why it is said that God did not create this creation out of something else. He is absolute, infinite, and out of himself, he has created this creation. And if it is out of himself that everything is created, then we are nothing but the consciousness of God, because there is nothing apart from God. And therefore, again, recognizing this truth is so important, because it gives us power, it gives us confidence to live in this world, it gives us courage to fight the battles that we have to fight. It helps us to withdraw from our emotional involvements and our suffering, to know that in a sense we are never going to die, we are immortal beings, we are children of the light. And all these little habit patterns and attitudes, and these are little tiny blemishes overlaying us, and by practice of yoga, by surrender to God and by love of our heart and by doing the right thing, we can easily remove those blemishes over us, and we can recognize our true nature as the infinite Atman. So we come to the next shloka, which is shloka number 7. Mata parantara nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre mani gana iva. हे धनंजय अर्जुन, मुझसे उच्च या परे कुछ भी नहीं है। सब कुछ जीव तथा वस्तुएं एक सूत्र में गुंथी मणियों के सदृश मुझसे बंधे हैं। O Arjuna, there is nothing higher than me or beyond me. All things, creatures, and objects are bound to me like a row of gems on a thread. So this is so beautiful. When we see a necklace or when we see a mala, or we are able to see the pearls on it, but somehow we are not able to see the thread which is there. But of course we know that if there are pearls which are strung on a thread, there has to be a thread. So it is automatically, it should be automatically understood, and it should be, when we see ourselves and when we see this creation, we have to understand automatically that there must be some intelligent force which is creating this. If we do not acknowledge that and we just are happy to see the pearl or see the gem, and then when the gem gets a little destroyed, assume that your body is like a gem, it gets a little old, it starts to wither, it starts to hurt, and then you are crying, you are forgetting that you were the essence, the thread which ties not only this body but so many other bodies together, and that actually nothing can happen to you. And this is what he is saying in this shloka. He is saying all of nature's manifestations can be ascribed to the soul origin, which is spirit or Krishna consciousness. But no cause of spirit can be traced. It is self-evolved and causeless. So when we are, in this world and we think of physical science, we always think that if this finite world is existing in infinity, then infinity should probably also exist in something else. Or we can say that if the cause of all that exists is God, then probably God should also have a cause. There should be a cause that leads to God. But actually, what this shloka is saying, what Krishna is saying here, that the Brahman or the absolute existence or the formless infinite God the Father, he is causeless. He is self-illumined. He is self-evolved. So, and he's saying that this is the final truth, that I am the essence of everything and there is nothing more than me and there is nothing beyond me. So let us not use the intellectual mind in finding useless causality when it does not exist. So examining too many questions about where did God originate from, then what happened, and so on and so forth. Okay, yes, we have an idea that Sagun Brahman came from Nirgun Brahman, but even knowing all of this knowledge theoretically, it actually does not solve our day-to-day problems of life, and it does not help us to go beyond suffering in our life. So yes, we should have knowledge of what Krishna is saying, but eventually we should focus on the attitudes and the practices that he has told us to do daily, so that we can understand our infinite essence. And that is why Buddha would not answer too many complicated theoretical questions, because he would maintain silence. And he told his disciples asked that, you know the answer, then why do you not answer these questions? He simply said that it does not help people to get out of their suffering. Because the suffering is starting from the sense of I-ness, and that I have done this and I want to do this. So people should actually work from that level and try to transcend desire and try to transcend their ego and try to change their attitudes and habit patterns and change their life towards positivity, towards God. What that people will not do, but they will only contemplate on these higher causations and karma and so many other things, but they themselves will only theorize and not work on the real thing. So again, this is a message for us that we should actually be working on ourselves rather than theorizing about the universe, rather than theorizing about the world, about politics, about what others are doing. Rather focus on yourself. We have so much work to do within ourselves. We have so much thoughts to transcend. We have so much emotions to control. We have to become masters of ourselves. So think of the magnanimity of that work and stop wasting time and energy on other people and the other pursuits and other worldly things. Focus on yourself. Of course, fulfill your responsibilities, but then whatever available time and energy you have, as Master said, live from a state of higher consciousness, live super consciously, focus at the point between the eyebrows as often as you can. Listen to the scriptures, practice the techniques that you have been given, and then you will be able to, rise above all this which is being told to us, the truth of which we should know, but let's focus more on what we need to do. Okay, so here, Master, he says that, just as on the string, on a thread, beads, we can have different beads, we can have different gemstones, they can be of varied color, varied designs. Similarly, all the castes, all the people of the world with different color skin, with different, superficial occupations, with different attitudes, so to speak, all of them are actually strung, and all, in fact, all animals and even the insentient things, all are strung by the one common thread of God. And therefore, there is no difference between any of us. The difference is only because our senses are limited and they perceive those differences. The difference is only because all minds are wearing glasses that are of different shades and colors. So if I'm wearing a glass which has a red shade, then the world to me will be red. And my friend who may have a green glass may say, he or she may say, no, the world is green, and I will say, no, the world is red. But the saint knows that it is all made of one white light. But the glasses that we are wearing we have different desires, we have different attachment, we have different sets of likes and dislikes. And through those veils, we are actually seeing the world. And that is why it appears different to different people. But yet Krishna is very, very clearly clarifying that all of them are threaded by me. All of them are created by me. This Prakriti is created by me. Prakriti creates all the entire beings, but all of them are linked to me. Just as also, if you think again of your dream, then all the characters in your dream are threaded by your own mind stuff, by your own consciousness, and nothing outside of that. So similarly, all the objects of this world, all creatures, however different they appear in size, shape, color, and timing, they are all threaded and they are all united by the one consciousness of God, of Krishna. Okay, so and of course, one who is able to see the oneness behind all variety, the one who is able to perceive eternity, behind the changing scenes of life that you see. Everything is moving, everything is changing, but one who can perceive the changelessness behind all these changing scenes, that person becomes wise, because he comes closer to what the truth that Krishna is saying here, because he becomes closer to Krishna himself, to consciousness, existence towards bliss. And therefore, as the more one can come to that understanding of the oneness of everything, of the union of that consciousness, the more one is at peace, the more one will experience bliss, because one will go closer to the source of one's own being, with the nature of which is bliss itself. Okay. This brings us to shloka number 8. Rasoham pasu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdakhe parusham rishu. हे कौंतेय, मैं जल की तरलता हूँ, मैं चंद्र और सूर्य की प्रभा हूँ, मैं ही संपूर्ण वेदों में ओमकार प्रणव हूँ, आकाश में शब्द और पुरुषों में पुरुषत्व हूँ. O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the fluidity in the water. I am the radiation in the moon and the sun. I am the Om Pranava in all the Vedas, the sound in the ether, and the manliness in men. Okay, so look all around you. He's saying, I am everything. When you look at water, do you think you are drinking God? No, but we must. And I started when I read this shloka, and simultaneously at that point, some point I was reading the Bhagavad Mahapurana, and the shloka in the Bhagavad Mahapurana is that is given, the mantra is given Om Namo Narayan. And when I read the meaning of Narayan, Narayan means the all-pervasive, consciousness. And when we read in the Puranas, we see Vishnu as, lying under at the bed of the ocean, inside the water, very, very still. So, I combined the three of this, the fluidity of the water, the mantra Om Namo Narayan, and the Vishnu lying at the bed of the ocean. And so I started this practice that whenever I would drink water, and I still do that, I mentally chant Om Namo Narayan, or I think of Narayan. I think of the fluidity of the water as God Himself. And as I am drinking it, when I can feel it going into my body, I also feel that it is Narayan Himself which is, pervading my entire body as water. So such visualizations are helpful reminders that God is all pervading. All of this game is God's game. All of this creation is God's creation. And as many times in a day, with whatever excuse you can attune to His presence, His infinite presence in any way. So this is just one example, as you're drinking water, to remember God at that time. So while eating food, you can do Brahmarpana, means you can remember that food is also Brahman. While you are, treating your clients, or when you are doing any business transaction with another human, if you can remember that the other human is nobody but God, then also your transaction will change, your daily life will change. So these are, ways to just connect to the divine during the day. And so I come back to the shloka that he's saying that he is the fluidity of water, and water is 70% plus our body, 70% plus the earth. So the earth is God, is the fluidity of that water. Everything is God, actually. So I'm just saying this so that, we are, whenever we see a water body, we are reminded of Krishna, we are reminded of Narayan, that this is a manifested form, a physical form of Narayan himself, just like everything else. And then he says, I'm the light of the sun and the moon. Then, of course, every day what lights up the earth? It is the sun. So that means the light that is coming from the sun, and the sun himself. Who is that? That is Krishna. In the night, what lights up the sky and what lights up the earth a bit? That is the moon. The light of the sun reflected from the moon, even that is Krishna. And if you have seen the idol of Jagannath, and you see both the eyes of Lord Jagannath, they are supposed to represent the sun and the moon, and they are never closed. So the God as the infinite witness, the still witness, who is lighting up the world, is also witnessing everything that is happening in creation all the time. So all the, the Sanatan Dharma, the Vedas, all of that, they are so linked with each other. The Puranic stories will come into play. The Upanishads will come into play. Eventually, they are trying to tell you that God is all pervading. Even if you don't understand the formless God and you visit an idol, you bow down to Lord Jagannath, his idol represents the sun and the moon and the infinity and the heart and love, which also again take you back to infinite formless principles. So, it's such a beautiful tapestry of fabric has been created out of threads of knowledge, which take us back into our origin. So reading the scripture is really, really, it's a wow thing, because it awakens you to the presence of infinity in every finite thing. So every finite thing should take you back, should step back mentally So stop seeing the differences and start feeling the unity that you have with the rest of creation. And it is easy to feel this unity during daytime if you are meditating regularly, because in meditation you can have the first hand experience of feeling oneness of yourself with the rest of the universe, or your consciousness is part of other people's consciousness. So that experience, it's not a mystical thing. It's scientifically and mathematically, if you are following the yogic path, if you are going in the way of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, then yoga is a science. Science means anybody doing those steps in a prescribed manner will get the same results. All people on the planet, whatever religion, whatever area, if they follow Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, the end result is samadhi, the end result is union, it is enlightenment. You can't help it. So we are helplessly on the path of enlightenment. Might as well like it, might as well accelerate it according to our heart's yearning, and might as well do the best that we can, because we want to sooner than later, we want to merge into that bliss, which is our own nature. Okay, so coming back to the shloka again, he says, I am the pranava mentioned in the Vedas. And we just discussed that how through Om, the entire creation, that the para-prakriti, apara-prakriti, it's actually the vibratory Om. And the Vedas are about Brahman and about creation. So automatically, the essence of the Vedas is the pranava, is the Om, and connecting to Om, you can connect with God the Father, God the Son, and of course, Om is the Holy Spirit. Then it also goes on to say that he is the virility of man. So the power that is in man. So whenever you see a person and you see courage, you see discrimination, you see sharpness, plus you see qualities of love and kindness, when you see a man fully, man, woman, fully, then you know that the power that is being projected out of this bodily or mental instrument, this personality, is nothing but the power of God, because he is the manliness of men. He is the essence of all creation. So all that you are projecting into the world is nothing but the power of God. All we need to do is, if we were to able to wipe away the little negative attitudes that we have, the little habit patterns that we are stuck into, the emotional problems that we have, and the judgments that we hold of others, if we are able to remove those by bhakti, by karma yoga, by jnana yoga, and then we are to meditate, then automatically you will perceive that Krishna is living through you, that you are nothing but Krishna himself. Okay. Okay, so then he says that when you see, okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so now he will come to the sun and the moon inside the human body. So Master comes to the mystical explanation of this shloka, and he says that the sun and moon is the duality which is in all our chakras, which is present all our chakras. The sound of the ether, the Om, is actually what has created our body. So the vibration of our entire body, which the substratum of which is Om, that is being talked about here. The sun and moon is also within us, the duality that is expressing through the chakras. And then he says that the variation, also the Om sound, we know that in different chakras, Om is projected as a different sound. So although it appears different, Master says here that it is the common substratum of Om. So it is vibrating in all of us. And that is why, to find the essence of all the universe, the easiest path is to find the essence of your own self. So as you, by yoga science, explore and discover how your physical body is working, how your prana is working, how are the chakras operating, how is your astral nervous system working. So if you go deeper and deeper into the essence of your physical body, your astral body, your causal body, and deep down towards the soul, once you reach your own soul, you have reached the substratum of the entire universe, the essence, the soul spirit of the entire universe. So that's what in this shloka he is therefore referring. First, he explains the universal phenomenon, and then he says it is right there inside your own body. and says the manliness of men, actually in this shloka, it means the soul nature. So in truth, we are the soul, means the lion of existence. But because the soul, through the agency of the ego, starts to get identified with the body and mind and operates only through the senses, it becomes a weak little lamb. And it forgets, it starts bleating and crying like a lamb. But then the guru comes in your life, he roars in front of you, and he reminds you that you are the lion, the soul. So when I say lion, of course, I mean the strength, the essence of creation, because he's the king of the jungle. So you are the really king of this cosmos, because you are the soul. And the guru will help you to recognize your own lion nature. And that is why we know of that story that has been told so many times, that a lion was born near sheep, and the mother died. The sheep took care of the lion. The lion would, lion cub would start bleating, would go with the sheep, and always it grazed grass, and it didn't know that it was anything else, until one day a big lion came and he saw what this little cub was doing. He took him to the waterfront, and there he showed him his reflection. And then when he roared, then the cub also roared and was reminded of his true nature. So our true nature is Krishna, nothing less than that. We need to recognize that. We need to know the divinity that is existing right now, right here. You are choicelessly Krishna. You helplessly, you are Krishna right now. As they say, तुम जानो या ना जानो तुम ही राम हो, तुम मानो या ना मानो तुम ही राम हो. और यही हमने realize करना है. This is what the Guru has come to make us realize. With this thought, we will end today's class, and we will share the power of today's teachings with souls everywhere. May the lion nature of all souls be awakened. Let us pray. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may Thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken Thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.